My Hebrew brothers and sisters, 12 tribes of Israel scattered all over the globe. Welcome back. This is your Moreh Yeshua ben Uriah Israel. And it is so great to welcome you to this session. Before I even go any further, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Thank you for your prayers. We are working diligently, researching and studying, preparing these sessions to bring to you. And so we just want to ask you to continue to like and subscribe and ask your friends and loved ones to do the same. We thank you so much. Today we want to talk about the Ethiopian Jews. I was reading in an article, the Israeli news, that Israel allowed 3,000 Ethiopian Jews to immigrate. Now, when we think about our people scattered all over, you know, a couple of years ago, there were some, what they refer to as plane lift, bringing Ethiopian Jewish people back to the mainland. Of course, my understanding that when they took them there, they didn't treat them with love and respect to what they gave to the European Jews that they brought back. Because, listen to this, I've seen pictures and I've heard people who visited Israel came back and talk about the treatment. That they build little houses in communities, like a little camp, like a compound. Little houses, one bedroom with kitchen and bathroom for families. It's like taking them from Ethiopia and putting them into prison camps. It's just like that. And those who did not practice Judaism, they would retrain them and try, and they would not get certain benefits until they learn to do it the way the Judaism practice. Because they refer to the people as falashas. Falashas is like referring to the African American dark-skinned people as the N-word. So either they call them falashas or they call them kushi. These are some of the names that they give them and treated them with disrespect and everything like that. Now, my brothers and my sisters, let me say this. That Israel today, present day Israel, is not for the people who live there and call themselves Israeli. It's not for them. It is for us, our ancestors. The land of Canaan was given to our ancestors, the original Hebrew Israelite people. They lost the benefit because of disobedience. And so here some European people came in and they took it over and they're reaping the benefit, and they're making the laws, and they're deciding who can come and who cannot come. So when 3,000 people are allowed to go, to me, it's just disgraceful, because the land is not theirs originally. It was for the people who are in Ethiopia, whose ancestors lived in Israel. But they lost it because of disobedience. Now, some of these people are coming. They refer to them as falashas because they say that they practice a little bit of Judaism and a whole lot of Christianity. Okay? Regardless of what happened, Israel government on Sunday said approve, the immigration of several thousand Jews from the war-torn Ethiopia, and some of whom have waited for decades to join their relatives who were in Israel. Like I said, many of those people's relatives were taken there during the plane lift in the 90s and in the early 2000s. Okay. But the decision took a step toward resolving the issue that has long complicated the government's relation with the countries of Ethiopian community. Okay, I'm reading from some of the news briefs and the headlines and some of the subheadings. And so some 140,000 Ethiopian Jews live in Israel. The community leaders established that roughly 6,000 others remain behind in Ethiopia. And so many of these people want to go back to their homeland, but they can't because of politics and different kind of leadership, right? But it said although many of the families are of Jewish descent, and many are practicing Jews. Many of them are practicing Jews. Israel does not consider them Jewish under the religious law. Instead, they have been fighting to enter the country under a family unification program that requires special government approval. Can you imagine? Their own country. But let me say this, Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters. Regardless of what they said, regardless of their laws and regardless of what the government said, okay, we lost the opportunity to live there and to go and come freely because our ancestors have sinned against Yahweh. And he said we rooted them out for a while, but we are on our way back. We are on our way back. Notice it is also noted that community activists have accused the government of dragging its feet in implementing, a 2015 decision to bring all the remaining Ethiopian of Jewish lineage to Israel within 5 years. Okay, under Sunday's decision, he said that an estimated 3,000 people will be eligible to move to Israel. And said they include parents, children, and siblings of relatives already in Israel, as well as orphans whose parents were in Israel when they died. So today we are correcting an ongoing injustice, according to what one of the leaders said there. He said the country's Minister of Immigration, he said that himself, and herself as the Ethiopian immigrant, she said the program was a response of to people who have waited too long, too many years, to come to Israel with their families and to resolve, a painful issue. It is painful when people want to be with their family and, because they are dark-skinned people and sometimes you refer to them as black people, right? They don't have the same right as the European have. And this is unfair, but like I said, all of these wrongs going to be corrected. Yahuwah is not sleeping. Yahuwah is going to make all of these things happen, okay, for our people. And so, it was not immediately clear when the airlift, would begin, but the government appoint a special project coordinator to oversee, the effort. And we hope that they will take those people over there, and many of them are suffering because of wars and, dictatorship and different people coming and take and try to take over and after Haile Selassie passed, I was executed, things not the same for the people, okay? And so, they suffer under wars over the years. They suffer under the Italian, and adjacent Ethiopian islands, adjacent islands, they also suffer. A lot of those people suffer. They suffer under the Europeans, and then they suffer under some of the African leaders. Okay? But we need to pray and trust Yahuwah, for these people, because they need help, right? And so these are not the only people that need to return to Israel. There are people here in the United States, there are people in the Caribbean, there are people everywhere, and like I said, when they are brought there, they do not treat them with respect and love. There's still that racism, thing that take place. A matter of fact, I was reading another news where it said that they have a new thing going in Israel with like they have in the United States here, that Black Lives Matter, But a lot of the Palestinian people, it's kind of funny because a lot of the Palestinian people for years did not own up to the fact that they were black and they were dark, of our race. They believe, because one of the things is that some of them are mixed with Greek and, like dark-skinned people. If you want to use the term black people, which I don't really believe in blackness, because we're not black, we're dark brown. But dark brown people, they have intermarried to the Greeks and the different ones, and so they became what they are now. Okay, we have to stop here, but please don't forget that this is the Sabbath. Okay, and so please remember the Sabbath. The scripture said we have to keep it holy, and it's just about time. Sundown now, so it's about time. Okay, and we ask you to remember to subscribe to this channel. We love you. This is your Moray, Yeshua Ben Uriah Israel. and we ask you to walk with the King and be a blessing. Shalom.